Good afternoon, friends. I am Nancy McCormick, campus minister for Wilmington College, and I welcome you to our baccalaureate virtual service for the class of 2021. I am standing alongside our beloved Clinton Countyans Isaac and Sarah Harvey, who traveled in September of 1862 to see Abraham Lincoln regarding their concern of humans owning other human beings. Their story is one of determination and a loving regard for people who were treated unjustly. They heard the voice of God and followed their conviction, taking them on a journey from their deep Quaker sense that all people should be treated equally with dignity and respect. To you, the class of 2021, I am grateful for the positive examples of many of you answering your own call as you become faithful stewards on your own path of discovery. Becoming a people who are committed to service and learning while creating stronger communities of integrity as you share the gift of equality with one another. Most of you have in every way moved forward with determination and resilience, all the while living through a pandemic. We have all been on a journey of letting go and experiencing new ways, sometimes better ways, a journey of the soul taking us into a place of reconciliation with one another, which many times leads us into a heart that has been transformed. Francis of Assisi states, "All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle." Don't forget the positive impact that others have played in your life or that you have shown to others. I am standing here with Senior Mikaela Prescott. Mikaela and I traveled with an intimate group of people to Japan in the summer of 2019 to return an old wooden cross to the people of the Uragami Cathedral in Nagasaki, Japan. We also traveled to share handmade dolls of hope and dolls of peace, calling us into a place of reconciliation, helping us see the potential of the breaking of the new day. I invite Mikaela to share her reflections of breaking bread with people along our journey and what that meant to her. Mikaela, I welcome you.
I have broken bread with people who do not share a common language with me. I have eaten sweets presented to me by the Archbishop of Nagasaki, who upon any other occasion might be implored to tell me we will not see the same heaven. I shared meals with a child, wise beyond his years and yet still the junior who will inherit the earth in my wake, who I am charged to make a palatable environment for. I've shared a meal with a hibakusha, who will always know more than I can ever learn from studying. When we share a meal with another person, we are sharing a moment of basic human necessity. In a metaphorical sense, we are naked. We are without airs and fronts as we are settled down on the most basic of human comforts, the need to sustain ourselves. When you share a multitude of meals with a person, you begin to associate that person with fond memories, kindness, and familiarity. Community can be small. It can be a narrow scope only welcoming to those who tuck us in at night. Community can be obvious in its very definition. Our neighbors, by God's decree, we must love without exception. Community can be temporary. As I know I speak to a few hundred people I have shared a unique experience with for 4 years, then for a majority, never again. But community can transcend the present tense and nearby. I mark our journey in feasting because it is otherwise so difficult to explain this trip, its significance and its meaning. I cannot stand here and find any combination of words which might arrange in a way to make anyone else feel the way I felt when handing a doll to a child who will only appreciate it as a toy for now, but feel the weight of it as a relic later in life. I cannot begin to make people feel the overwhelming sense of responsibility of carrying a cross which had survived the atomic bombing, only to be worried it would turn to dust as I wove through the black and white tiles of the Tokyo train station. I cannot fully explain the way I walked down the red aisleway of the cathedral and out into the night, surrounded by hundreds of strangers with their faces lit by candlelight, and I was struck by the way we did not know each other's names. And yet in that one mournful walk of remembrance, we were an unbreakable community bound by likeness. Every day of our trip was hotter than the day before, longer and more tiring. We had appointments to keep, trains to catch, and people to meet. I compared the trip at one point to attempting to pull just one paperclip out of a box of office supplies. Without a doubt, upon pulling a paperclip, you find yourself unknowingly pulling on a chain of paperclips of various sizes, impossible to untangle in a hurry. It is frustrating and never-ending. And yet, at the end of every day, we found ourselves reset as we sat in any form of our group's number, at any number of locations as we ate. It was this time, at the end of the day, chopsticks pushing around rice, when we got to laugh and smile and admit that we were tired, exhausted, but happy. We built a community with forks and bowls. The community was then, it was there, it was at those tables. My community includes 2 graduate students in Nagasaki who took us out to eat at a local Chinese restaurant, where we chatted well into the night about the differences in politics and economy between Japan and America. We sat in red pleather-seated chairs surrounded by kitschy Chinese souvenirs, breaking fortune cookies and holding deep conversations smattered with moments of tension-breaking laughter until the owners told us it was closing time. I will think of these students who so graciously spent the afternoon and night with us often. My community will be Yoshiko Tanagawa and Rumi Hanagaki, as we sat at a bar and Yoshiko insisted we get beers, and Rumi folded paper cranes in Kyoto from scraps of paper in her purse. I shared a deep conversation with Yoshiko about the repercussions of having a father in the Japanese military in the 1940s. A conversation so unique and shocking that I could barely contribute anything, and only listen as she told her story with such grace, despite the way we all clumsily ate food right off the flat-top grill in a restaurant meant to share only happy occasions. Yoshiko and Rumi will always be part of my community. I have a greeting card Yoshiko and Rumi sent me over the winter holiday. It sits on my desk over a year after our first meeting, and it makes me smile every day, remembering the meals we shared together. My community will always be Nancy, Tanya, Julio, and Emma, who I traveled with. We shared many meals, nearly every meal, eating on trains to and from, in hotel lobbies, and stands nestled between the platforms at train stations. We saw one another at our best. We saw one another at our worst. And yet at the end of every day, we shared a meal and we were able to center ourselves, settle into our own community, which was formed so tightly by transplanting us 6,500 miles away from home. So settle in. Break bread with whomever sits at your table. Make that here and now your community. Because as we all become human in the face of hunger, we find ourselves growing closer as people, learning, listening, and growing in ways that can stay with us forever. Thank you.
4 of the students sharing with us today traveled with me on a service trip to Belize Friends Community Center in Belize, Central America. This took place in the spring of 2020. It was there many of us were called to dig deeper into our faith or belief system to get through a difficult time. My husband had become quite ill while we were there, which took my attention away from the service work we were asked to do at the school. Yet this team of young people came alive as they completed the tasks that were set before them. I was humbled and inspired as these students rose with a willingness to complete the work at hand, while at the same time completing it with an authentic spirit of gratitude. The greatest gift for me on this trip was I never worried about them acting in a way other than being faithful to complete the task set before them. Mother Teresa states, "There is a light in this world, a healing spirit more powerful than any darkness we may encounter. We sometimes lose sight of this force when there is suffering and too much pain. Then suddenly the Spirit will emerge through the lives of ordinary people who hear a call and answer in extraordinary ways." It is my hope that you hear the message of a loving God speaking through our students today. A message that reminds us that every day offers the opportunity of breaking bread together as a way to restore relationship and build bridges of hope. As we experience a new morning bursting forth, a new morning experiences as we persevere with the best that we can give to one another, and how beautiful it is to work with a spirit of love. I am grateful now to say thank you to Brianna Matzke, Professor of Music, who will be performing for us, "Morning Has Broken." Listen carefully to all the elements that are in this composition, and like the breaking of a new morning, embrace it and take it all in. Let the gift of this music restore you as you step into your path with God on your new journey.
Hi everyone, and congratulations on finishing your degrees here at Wilmington College. My name is Brianna Matzke, and I'm the professor of music here at the college. I am so proud of your perseverance and also really grateful for the time that I got to spend with many of you. For this year's baccalaureate, Nancy asked me to perform on the piano an arrangement of the hymn "Morning Has Broken." I thought this was a great choice because of the meaning of the hymn. It expresses the same kind of hope that I am feeling in this moment as we're drawing near to the end of the pandemic and drawing on a new time of brighter prospects. The words of the hymn say, "Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world." As all of you embark on a new and very hope-filled phase of your lives, I hope you will take time to be grateful for the beauty and hope that you can find in what is new, just like the morning dawn depicted in this music. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jesse Shell, and I'm a senior agricultural education student getting ready to graduate from Wilmington College this semester. When I think back to my time at Wilmington College, I think of my first introduction to the Quaker core values. The core values of justice, integrity, and community are three of the ones that really stand out to me the most. The day that I first moved in was really frightening and a huge culture shock for me. Coming from a small town in Miami County, Ohio, I was not prepared to take this big jump into college after high school. But what quickly was fear turned into the best decision of my life. Within Wilmington College, I quickly developed and found my community. I became friends with many people all throughout Austin Pickett and took a chance in meeting all kinds of new people and taking advantage of any opportunity. As I got more and more involved in college, I remember I was warned by some of my high school teachers, try not to do more than 1 or 2 different things, but quickly I found myself in 9 different things, and I couldn't have changed that for the world. It's been the best decision of my life. When I think about all the different possibilities that come into my life and the opportunities through Wilmington College, I have a lot of people to thank for that. The different opportunities given by my professors and the different courses offered, and as well as being enrolled in agricultural education, have exposed me to multiple different people and varieties of learners and groups of people that I'm thankful for their contribution to who I am today. If it wouldn't have been for taking those first few steps as a freshman, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to study abroad in Morocco and take that trip and fly for the first time thousands of miles away, nor would I have had the greatest opportunity to student teach in a great community just 20 miles south of here in Lynchburg, Ohio. I am forever grateful for all the lessons at Wilmington College, and when I think about the possibilities allotted, I'm reminded of the words from Rabbi Cheryl Lewert in her book, Blessings for Life's Journey. She writes on possibilities, "May you open your life to the possibilities like Moses did. Floating on the rivers of the Nile and trusting your innate purpose will reveal itself to you during life's journey. May you nurture your inner self, guided by your experiences and strengthened by your hard-won wisdom. May you face the mystery and learn the secrets of the wilderness, knowing that they are held in the loving embrace of the Holy One. Amen." Thinking about Rabbi Lewert's words really makes me reflect a lot more on my Wilmington College experience. Being able to develop my identity, form my community, and really find out who I am and what I'm made of has been a great reward from my time here at Wilmington College. Though our 3 to 5 years, depending on how long we're all here, can change and may take us down different courses, we're all reaching that final end, and it's been nothing short of amazing for myself and for many others. As we take the next step forward, may we remember our community and take any advantage to go forward with any possibility that life presents with us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karmiela White, and I'm majoring in communication arts and political science with a minor in race, gender, and ethnicity. And I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today as I reflect on my time spent at Wilmington College. So for the preponderance of my life, I have been passionate about aiding in the pursuit of a better world. And when I stepped onto this campus 4 years ago, I found myself longing for ways to create tangible change in the world around me. And I had always envisioned doing so with those who also held the same desires, because community is important to me. While I did not know quite how this would look in that moment, I felt in my soul that Wilmington College would provide spaces in which I could not only serve my community, but also exist within groups that were striving for a more just world. And that guttural instinct was indeed correct. During my time spent on this campus, I have been afforded opportunities to engage in efforts to reconstruct the systems that have marginalized those in our society, those in my community, for far too long. This has looked like mobilizing students to call on those in public office to sign on to pieces of legislation that would enhance the quality of life for those they serve, and writing letters to those in positions of power calling on them to do the bare minimum, which is valuing basic human rights. These acts of love, rooted in empathy for our fellow human beings, has taken the shape of many things. But the passion for equality that acts as the fuel has remained vibrantly consistent during the time I've spent here. When I arrived to this campus back in 2017, which admittedly seems like a lifetime ago, I knew that a more just world was possible. I had felt this way my whole life, and I knew that I could play a role in creating such a thing. What I did not know was that the power already rested inside of me. The power had rested inside of me my whole life. As I have grown and experienced this chapter of my life, I have come to know that I, as a young person, am capable of shifting the way in which our world functions in ways that I never imagined possible. I owe this revitalizing revelation to this place, and most importantly, to the people who come here to work every day. For they have shown me what it means to practice the art of service and civic engagement in an effort to attain peace and social justice. I'm hopeful that the tools my peers and I have been handed over the course of these past 4 years will allow us to create a future in which the rights of every human being is honored and seen. And I am eager to bear witness to something so beautiful. Thank you.
My name is Julio Olivarez. I'm a mathematics major and upcoming graduate of Wilmington College. Some of you may know me from my involvement in Eco Club, SLEB, LSA, QLLs, housing, and cross-country team. And others I may have been fortunate enough to have crossed paths with by happen chance. But to the rest of you, it's a pleasure to meet you. I would like to start by saying congratulations on our upcoming graduation of 2021. What a time. I knew classes would be hard. I knew there would be drama along the way, but a pandemic? Really? As if this wasn't hard enough. But we survived. 4 years. We were told that they would go by quick. We were told that they would be memorable. But man, did I underestimate the weight that those words held. We watched as senior class after senior class went before us, but there was always the thought of, there's still plenty of time left. And now, here we are. We stand on the precipice of the unknown once more. But looking back, what have we learned? What have we found? What are the things we picked up along the way? Of course we got an education. That was kind of the point. But don't you think we are leaving with more than just a degree? For me, Wilmington College has been more than just an institution of higher learning. Wilmington College has been my home. But no, home wasn't always perfect. Every day wasn't filled with sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it was hard. Late nights, early mornings, days when getting out of bed was the greatest achievement of that day. Disputes, disagreements, anger, and arguments. But despite all of that, we all lived with each other. We didn't always see eye to eye, didn't always agree. Sometimes didn't even like each other. But we lived with everyone. No, home wasn't always perfect, but no home is. But it has always been ours. For 4 years, this is the place where I have found friends, found things that I love doing, and found a place where I know I belong. Belong. A place where I long to be. Amongst you, my peers. Amongst you, my mentors. Amongst you, my faculty and staff. The memories you have given me, the memories that I share with all of you, are something that I will hold closely to my heart. The good, the bad, all of it means something if you let it. But like all good things, our time here is coming to an end, and we go forth to who knows what. I am sure some of us have plans, some of us ideas, and all of us are just glad that we are done. But this is not the end. It is the start of our next chapter. Congratulations, class of 2021.
And I'm a graduating senior this year. And during my time at Wilmington College, I have found that the campus community has truly impacted my experiences. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about today. Before I came here, I was told over and over that college is supposed to be the time of finding yourself. I was told that it is the time in your life where you decide where you want to go and what you want to do. It's the time in your life to be selfish, to focus on yourself and what you want. But for me, college has been a much different experience. In fact, the most memorable moments I've had here have not been when I was focusing on my academics, my major, my career path. The most memorable moments were when I was interacting with, listening to, and most importantly, learning from those around me. For the last 4 years, I've had the privilege of competing on the Wilmington College swim team. Something we were always told by our coaches was to race as if you were racing for those around you. In doing so, many of us were able to accomplish so much more than we had previously thought. I believe this idea can be applied in situations in life as well. When you take I out of the narrative and recognize that you are part of something bigger than yourself, you allow yourself to become part of a much larger vision where your actions, your attitude, your talents, and your overall presence has the ability to make a positive influence in the lives of those around you. Throughout the 4 years I've been here, I've seen this campus come together and support each other in the midst of difficult circumstances. We have rallied around students and faculty who have experienced personal tragedies and unimaginable hardships. The amount of support shown from overall campus during these times amazes me. Everyone was asking the same questions. How can we help? How can we show this individual or this particular group that we truly care? What can we accomplish together? And how do we turn this negative situation into a positive one? This positive attitude in the face of adversity has allowed this class to overcome many obstacles and step into many leadership roles all over campus. And while I think this is true for the duration of our college careers, it has been especially true for this past year. We were able to make it through the entire year of school, attending in-person classes, competing in athletics, and participating in on-campus organizations. This year was only possible because everyone did their part to make that happen. So yes, college is known as the time where you discover certain truths about yourself. You discover your passions, your goals, and your aspirations. But this is not a solo endeavor. The people you surround yourself with ultimately play a key role in getting you to where you want to be. Because of this, it is important that we all surround ourselves with people who are driven, passionate, and committed to improving themselves. These are the people who I've been fortunate enough to know during my time here at Wilmington College. So I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the faculty, staff, and students who have inspired, challenged, and helped me along the way. And to the class of 2021, I hope you all will think back on this experience as fondly as I will, because for me, it has truly been a privilege to be part of this campus community.
It's crazy to think that 4 years have gone by, and I found myself thinking back to orientation and how we were first kind of exposed to Quakerism and all that, like the "What Does George Fox Say" video.
Oh my god.
And I don't think then I really realized exactly how engraved the values of Quakerism were at the campus, but now that I've lived it, now that I've seen it, it's pretty apparent when you just take a moment to reflect. So if we talk about simplicity, Al Beatty, whenever he posts pictures on the app or on his Twitter, they're of the most simplest things. It's a flower at the sunrise, or him in his game day gear at the football game. It just brings a smile to my face, and it's just so simple, yet it makes me glad to be here.
It is. A lot of people live in the moment on this campus. It's just the simple things that keep them going on. I personally, walking through campus and just seeing all of the dogs out there that I can just pet their swoopy fur, and they're just so joyous to see us on campus, almost as much as I am to see them. It's just a simple thing, but it brings me such a feeling of home.
Yeah, that the simplicity, that just all these simple things, they just bring us the purest joy. I think that's really what motivates us to get us through everything. Any hard time we're having, we see a dog walking on campus, or we just see a post of a flower. It's just the simplest thing. It's so nice.
Yeah, the simple things there, that's what kind of brings us to that peace, our inner peace. So yes, we stress and worry, but then we have that moment of calm. For me, I like to go to Kava House at least once a week and just sit there and vibe and just enjoy a cup of coffee.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're so friendly to us college students too. And even like just taking a walk on the arboretum on a nice spring day like today,
Mhm.
hearing the birds chirp and smelling all of the beautiful flowers that are in bloom, and picking violets or just taking off my shoes and putting my feet in the grass, I feel such an overwhelming sense of calm and peace, and it feels like all is right in the world.
Yeah, or just like for me, hanging my hammock up on our balcony in the village,
Yeah.
just laying out in the hammock and just saying hi to everybody walking by is just so calming, so peaceful. It's just nice to be out there with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for integrity, I have to think of my professors. Like Wynn Alexander, if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it for you. Whether that's get you into a class or when we did Sorted Lives this past fall, from the very beginning they said, we have no idea what the production will look like. We don't know if we will perform, but we're going to treat it as like a normal production as possible. And I really appreciated that forwardness. It's like, yeah, you don't have the answers, but that doesn't mean he's going to just not try.
Definitely. And the wonderful open door policy we have here on campus, I feel like I can go to any one of my professors or staff members or faculty members and be like, hey, this is happening in my life. What can I do? What can make me better? What can I have help with? And they're just always so straightforward and so prepared to help you. It's such an outstanding environment on this campus.
Yeah. And I know my professors for both athletic training and theater have always welcomed me into their office, and anytime I need something, I can go to them. I have their phone numbers to be able to just text them when I need to talk to them. If I have a random question, it could be school related or not. If I just need someone to talk to, they're there for me. So it's so nice to have them.
We really do have that feeling of belonging, of community, not just with professors and fellow students, but my favorite event on campus is the grocery bingo's. We have no idea who's in there, but once you show up and you get that bingo card and your chips, oh man, are you one? Yeah, it's unbelievable how just a bingo game really brings everyone together, except for that winner, because boy, does everyone harp on that winner.
Oh yeah.
Not even just with grocery bingo, a lot of events put on by APB, our activity programming board, like bubble parties and date parties were my favorite thing. I remember sitting there on the basketball court outside of AP with the bubble party and taking the best pictures. I had a bubble beard, I had a bubble mohawk. Remember when they had the slip and slides for like paint you and stuff, and everybody just skated across the parking lot? Everybody just came together and we had so much fun.
That's really what, like being on APB for me, that's really what it was about. Just creating events that can get everybody involved and just keep us together as a community through campus. Just random stuff like grocery bingo or the paint and sips or paint parties and just all the different events, especially in non-COVID times when we're able to travel and go places.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That was even more. We got out and together in small groups and were able to go to games or sporting events or to Otherworld even. Like just really cool places that kind of bonded those groups of people that were able to go.
It really worked for me. It was, and I've never had such a close family as I do here.
Oh, definitely. Oh, 100%.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on where equality kind of showed up in our 4 years.
So many places. I think of my time on the numerous organizations I was a part of, like the equestrian team or orientation, and just seeing the different groups of people come together. Like, I grew up dirt poor. I was homeless for a while, but that never stopped any of my chances here at Wilmington. Nothing ever held me back. Not being Native, not being homeless, not being poor, not living out of state, I was always involved in the community. Everybody just seemed like they had equal footing and were ready to take on the world if they really wanted to here. And it was just such an awesome experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel kind of on a less extreme with athletics here. Most of our sporting teams, especially for me for swimming, we welcome anybody to come join the team. You could just be learning how to swim in college. It doesn't matter. If you want to join the team, we'll work with you, you can join the team. And that's how it is with most of the sports here. So I kind of see like accepting and like just the equality that everybody has, each swimmer, because like we don't treat other swimmers any different because they have their level of experience. They're part of the team. They're coming with us to meets, they're competing, we're supporting them just like any other swimmer. And so it's just, we're all equal. It's just so nice to see.
I can definitely agree with that. I'd never done a musical before coming to Wilmington College. Our school didn't have that much money. And I haven't been around the horses. And I was just like, I'm going to go join all of these cool things and try it. I got the time of my life.
Oh, that's great to hear. And there's one last one, service. I think that one's kind of obvious with SLED and all the other service projects that happen, but I also like to think that it's also seen in the staff members, like Debbie in One Stop.
Oh,
She will go for above and beyond what you need to help you out. And she doesn't need to do that. She just has to fill out paperwork, make a couple phone calls, and she gets paid. But she'll check with you for 5 minutes before she even asks, so what are you doing in here? What can I help you with? And I think that's what I really admire from here. Like, service isn't just picking up garbage across the street. It's how we help the people here.
I can go anywhere on this campus and have somebody pull the door open for me or smile at me or say hello, and it just brings a sense of service and joy to me, being able to do that for others and having others do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many big and wonderful service projects that SLED puts on, that Faith in Action puts on, and even in the smaller world, that every one of our students put on. They work so hard to make sure our campus is nice and beautiful. We have student workers in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
That's serving our community. We have people that go out to the communities and just help out people just because they can. They don't have to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You don't have to build an entire residence hall to have service.
No.
Right.
You can just wake up and decide, I think I'm going to smile at people.
Right.
I think I'm going to hold that door open.
Like Nancy with her golf cart, just coming around with her. That's such a wonderful service on our campus. And we do a lot of big service projects like most other colleges, but nowhere do you have just these little things that are just there to make the students happy and want to keep working and want to keep pushing forward. I think without all of those little nuances, I wouldn't have gotten through these 4 years.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Absolutely. So, it's the core values, whether we knew it or not, they were always around us. And I'm a little sad that, we're just not having this talk now instead of after 1 year or 2. But at least now that we can see them, we can hopefully continue on exhibiting them.
Yeah, definitely. At least knowing now what we have done here, just the simplest things that were all these core values. Hopefully what we've learned and experienced will just transition us through the rest of our lives and keep living like this.
I know for a fact these core values will always make us better and stronger people. And we're going to keep pushing on and taking it into our careers and our lives, and we're going to keep infecting, if you will, other people with these wonderful values that made us who we are now.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to be okay.
I think so too.
We're going to be okay.